Hi, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before I begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. That person is not me, they are a scammer. Do not be scammed. Alright, with that being said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. All right, let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Scorpio, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. Now let's look at what your chakra energy is for this time. Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. These two. Okay. So we're going to start here with psychic development. This is the third eye chakra. And we're moving then to divine wisdom. This is the soul star chakra, located 6 inches above your crown. Excuse me. Now the left-hand side here is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. We have the 3 of Wands, the Knight of Coins, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have the Empress. We have the Ace of Swords. We have the Ace of Cups, a gift just for you. The Queen of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Nine of Swords, interesting. And then comes the Sun. That's really cool. We then have the Seven of Coins, the Hanged Man, the Tower, and the Page of Cups. I knew you were coming through. All right, so here's you as a student in the public arena, but throughout this whole time, you're very much going to be a learner, a seeker, somebody who looks at one side of the story and then looks at the other side of the story and is just getting more and more information. Now, be very careful about what rabbit holes you go down, right? Because it can be that you're getting more and more information, but it can also be that it becomes more and more overwhelming. Make sure that you're looking and really connecting with what your heart needs, with what your soul desires, and not go too deeply into dark and scary things, right? So that's just from somebody who has a tendency to go too deeply into dark and scary things at times. So here, this is the Page of Cups. You're taking the gift of the Ace of Cups, which is a gift meant for you, Scorpio. You're a water sign energy. And there's a blessing at the root of you during this time that you might not see right away because it comes in with the Ace of Swords and it starts to bring forward a new dawn, a new day, a new way of looking at things. You become very, very intrigued by your heart, by your place within this world, by your contentment within life, and you're really going to be asking yourself during this time some really big questions that you might not think are really big questions, but they're going to be quite intense. So let's look at the energy you need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of? March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of? March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. And this one. Okay. Those two. There's a balance around you too. Like everything seems to be, two chakra cards, two energy cards to be mindful of. There's a balance around you during this time that's really, really beautiful. So we have the moon here. This is water sign energy of Pisces, right? So you're going to be very drawn to this energy because water sign energy calls to water sign energy. And this is going to be a person who really amplifies that fear. That's why Spirit had me say, don't go too darkly down the rabbit holes, right? Don't go into the really scary stuff because you will have at this time this tendency for it. And that's what the moon is showing. It's like going really deep into things, kind of freaking yourself out just a bit and not knowing who to trust, what to look at, how to move forward. That's going to be a very big thing during this time. And just you're going to have such an insatiable curiosity. So looking at things and saying there are two sides to everything. This and that is true. And that's an old Taoist saying. There is this side of the story, but there is also that side of the story. And everything holds truth in its own way. And I think that's something our world doesn't see so easily right now, is that there needs to be this harmony of understanding, this beauty of respect. And here we're going to be tested a bit when we're looking at things that scare us, that become overwhelming, that make us feel out of control of things. And there can be people who play off of that fear, who sit there and really want to make something feel very unstable within you. It's like, oh my gosh, my core has been shaken. And this is going to be the battle that you have during this time, is to sit in your power quite meditatively, to sit in that power and to say, this is me. This is what I want. This is where I'm headed. Yes, I'm going to be scared about things, but I can't let that fear overpower me. And you start to actually make the fear into an ally. And how you do that over time is by respecting that fear, but also looking at the triggers of that fear. It's like, where did they come from, the starting points, and following that fear back to that starting point and saying, okay, is this like a phobia, or is this something that I can work with? Is this something I can, kind of map out in your journal, or talk to with a friend or with a professional to really get to the basis of how I can move forward in strength of self. And then we have the Prince of Pentacles. This is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is going to be somebody very set in their ways. It's very much of, this is the way that we do things. This is the way that we move forward. They're kind of on their high horse during this time and just demanding that you see things the same way that they do. And that's just not going to be you during this time. Again, there's this immense curiosity around you. There's this immense sense of really embracing the psychic self and having this divine wisdom be a part of you during this time. It's like you are being driven towards bigger questions, towards greater answers, towards a bigger understanding of where you stand within this world. And the psychic development with the third eye chakra is the sense of looking at your holistic self, looking at your intuitive self, looking at the part of you that is aware of the world. And you're going to see that part of you developing. Now, whether you call it psychic, whether you call it observant, whether you call it the spiritual side of you, it doesn't matter its name at all. What matters is during this time, you're opening up your third eye, you're embracing it, you're walking forward in it, and it brings you to divine wisdom. It brings you to this place with the spiritual awakening and this sense of the soul star chakra, the sense of this wisdom kind of raining down on you. It's like, well, I wonder what seeing this point of view will do. I wonder what walking down this path means. I wonder what looking and reading this book means, or watching this documentary or movie or whatever. And you're just gathering up information, and it feels like it comes to you like a magnet. It's just drawn to you. And during this time, it becomes such an ally because you become such a powerful, determined force. And it's like nothing can stand in your way during this time. And if you don't let your fear get the best of you, if you let your fear get the best of you, then this time can become one all about towers and nightmares and a real question of how do I ever get to be where it is that I want to be? How do I ever get to see the new horizons coming? Because you're starting off here with the Three of Wands. You're starting off with looking at new horizons, looking at new ways forward, looking and kind of testing the boundaries and saying, this is what I want from life. This is where I need to be. This is what I desire. This is what I'm looking for. It's the bigger things. And now with the world opening to you and you opening to the world, saying, this is what I want from my life, it gives you greater ideas. It gives you greater introspection. It gives you a greater sense of, I can do this. There's like one small win that you have along this time. And it can be a very small win, but it means all the difference for you. It just opens up a greater understanding, a greater truth, a greater way forward. And you sit in this power and you're like, oh, that's what I was heading for, wasn't it? That's what I desired. That's what I want. That's the new dawn I'm going after. And we have many dawns in our lives, but as we're embracing this one, it moves us to the sense of prosperity. That Knight of Coins, that Knight of Pentacles that you have to be mindful of also becomes one of your allies during this time. Maybe not the same person, but the energy around it, where you are embracing kind of having a higher point of view because you're up mounted on the horse, right? Excuse me. And what you're looking at here is the way that you can move forward, what it is that you want to construct from the situation, the way that you see things connected that you had never seen connected before. And it just makes you look at things and go, can I do that? Or I can do that. Or, that isn't something that I had imagined. And it's knowing that slowly and steadily you are fighting and building something quite extraordinary. And as you do so, because the knight is always, first and foremost a trained warrior, you are that warrior of what it is that you want to plant within your life. And it's that old saying of better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war, right? Better to know how to defend yourself and never have to use it than not know how to defend yourself and have to use it. So here you're embracing that strength, that understanding, that sense of this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want, and this is what I'm developing within my life. We can also look this as fiercely protecting the seeds that we plant, fiercely protecting what we desire within ourselves, the way that we want to move forward, what we're looking towards. I like to think of it as gardens, because if you think of it as gardens, they're a lot of hard work. You look at gardens and you think, oh, how pretty, but you don't realize, unless of course you garden, how much work they are. And if you have vegetable gardens and, plant gardens and what plants, do well next to each other. And it's a whole big thing that I myself had never, ever thought of before and thought was crazy if you went into everything. But here it's looking at that and saying, what is it that I can create, how is it that I can plant things so that they start to feed off each other? How is it that I can plant seeds of success within my life so that they start to feed off each other? It's like, what is it? The three sisters in Native American planting. It was corn, beans, and something else. I don't remember what the third one was. If you do, leave it in the comment box below, please. But it's the sense of they all played off each other so nicely. And that's what you're going to be doing for yourself during this time. And it moves you, and you have the repeat of the number 3 here. So divinity is watching over you as you're having these revelations, as you're moving forward in this way with the Empress. And the Empress is claiming the throne you thought was lost, claiming the voice you didn't know was silenced. It's all the things about us that we didn't realize. It's kind of like, oh, I never thought I could be great. I thought greatness was meant for other people. I thought it was meant for, different people. They had to look a certain way or talk a certain way or have a certain education, and then you could be great. But here with the Empress, and I have in the description box, I have a link to The Perfect Mind, where it's this Gnostic text of the sacred feminine coming forward. And it's really quite exquisite. And all the not the double talk, but all the like, I am the bride and I am the widow type of talk. I am the two things that cancel out each other. And so here it is that understanding that as we step into our powers, we can be contradictions. That's the word that I was looking for. We can be contradictions, and they can seem to be vast contradictions, but they can still be what makes us whole and becoming and understanding. And when we claim a throne we never knew we had is when we look at ourselves and we see our power. And it might not be that power that other people have. It might not be able to get up on stage and speak elegantly and eloquently in such a profound and passionate way. It might not be, to be the actor up on stage or the rock star or anything like that. Your gift might be kindness. Your gift might be love. Your gift might be that you make people feel at home when they're around you, or you have this way of listening to people's stories that other people just don't. And so here, when we're embracing our gift, we're also realizing that there is power and purpose to us, even if the rest of the world doesn't always honor it. And it's planting the seeds. It's bringing forward prosperity. It's bringing so much more to the table, because the Empress is usually depicted as pregnant, right? And here she has a child. And when she is depicted as pregnant or with a child, it's preparing the next generation. And it's simply by the way that we live, by the steps that we take forward, we prepare the next generation. Whether we have great interaction with them or not, it doesn't matter. And there's a sense of true power here, true understanding, greater insight than what we once knew. And it brings us to the Ace of Swords. It brings us to divinity handing us a gift of knowledge, understanding, power, and decisiveness. It also is focusing on the breath, the air that we breathe, because, of course, air sign energies are represented by air. And that's what the swords represent. There is a sense here of focusing on the breath, focusing on the way you inhale, you exhale, you embrace, and you embody your life. So often we just go through the moments. And if we don't sit in our breath, if we don't, become conscious of our breathing, of the way that we're energizing our bodies, of the way that we are, blessing ourselves, we go through life and we think, oh, it doesn't matter. You could be also like me, like when I get stressed, a lot of times I hold my breath. I didn't even know I was doing it till somebody pointed out that their watch was telling them to breathe. And I thought, oh, that's so weird. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I do the same exact thing. And so it's knowing how important the breath is, how much it can mirror us. And so when you're handed this gift of knowledge and understanding, you're also handed this gift of the way to fill your lungs, of the voice that you want to be heard, of the power that you are using to move forward. And it brings you to the Ace of Cups. So you have these two brilliant gifts during this time coming in, and they have to do with the emotions, the mind and the emotions. They're the more abstract, the more concrete are the wands and the pentacles, which are, our passions, our drives, and also our prosperity, our bounty, the what we value as much as money, if not money itself. So we have here the Ace of Cups. This is God's source spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, handing you a gift of love, of ideas, of insight, of, greater power and greater truth. It's a sense of washing away old hurts and old pains, looking at things more openly and more honestly for yourself. This can make you very sensitive. And also because this is crowning your heart, there is a purge that you are going through. Think of, purging your bodies of toxicities. So when we do that, we might not feel as good. We feel run down and tired, and, it's because we're doing a body cleanse. Here, we're doing a soul cleanse. So it can make us feel sensitive. It can make us feel overwhelmed. It can make us feel, like, oh my goodness, how am I going to get through this? Where is it that I'm going to be, or what is it that I want? It can have us almost feeling like we're going through a crisis because we're doubting so much. We are so overwhelmed. And so here, as we are embracing this cleanse, as we are taking in the healing waters, as we are finding the rhythm of our heartbeat and the rhythm of our voice, it brings us to the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is, of course, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And this is a sense of stepping into power. This is a sense of not being afraid to roll up your sleeves and go after what it is that you want. But this is also so beautifully the story of Hestia. So she's the goddess of the hearth in Greek mythology. And what happened is that the main gods, after the Titan War, right? After the Olympians defeated the Titans, they all claimed their thrones in Olympia. And there was one extra goddess or god, I don't remember which one. And somebody had to step down. They weren't sure who, and it was going to cause another war right after this war. And Hestia was the one who said, we do not have to have a battle. I will step down. I will step down, and I will go on living my life as I need to. I will embrace my truth and my power, but I don't want any more fighting. And because of that, she's the goddess of the hearth. She was the goddess that every single Greek and Roman prayed to and had as the center point of their home. And here, it's like, if we step out of the I'm right, you're wrong, I'm going to be the best and always on top, then we step into the purpose, the power, the understanding. This isn't letting people walk all over you. That's quite different. This is saying, I know my truth. I will always know my truth, and I claim it powerfully and purposefully. And that's what your heart is doing. And you're going to see yourself opening to new ideas, new understandings, new powers forward, greater truths. And there's a might to you, there's a fire to you, there's a passion to you, there's a determination to you. But there's also a sense of peace to you that is extraordinary. And it brings us to facing our nightmares, because that's what tries to rip down our truths. And it's linked here with the changes that you have gone through. So you might be sitting there and be very much like me, and trying to figure everything out. I just want to know how everything is all going to lay out, have everything all set, and not be surprised. Here's the thing. Divinity doesn't like that. We have our paths forward, and there are going to be surprises along the way, whether we are intuitively connected or not. No matter how hard we try, no matter how much we seek, divinity is always going to throw us a curveball, send us on a direction that we don't know. Part of the nightmares that rule us and that make us so afraid is because they paralyze us with fear. And when we let ourselves be paralyzed with fear and we don't address it, we don't talk to it, we might not even realize it. It's kind of like when you're in chronic pain. If you're in chronic pain and it's just your everyday, you don't even know that you're in pain sometimes. This is why, finding the proper diet for your body and yourself is so important. Looking at the supplements that you're taking, being in tune with your holistic self and with holistic foods is so powerful. It can help fight nightmares. So can getting a good night's sleep. So can, breathing properly. These little things that we don't need to spend any money on, really, at all, can become life-changing. I have links in the description box below of these beautiful people who are just so wise and so smart, talking about these things. So here, there is a sense of facing nightmares, of facing our fears. And a lot of times we face one little corner of our fears. So that's why the nightmares keep on coming up. You might think, how many times, and I thought this often, like, how many times can the Nine of Swords come up for me? Haven't I faced my nightmares already? But there's always another layer, another layer. There's always more fear, because what fear is, it's our primordial programming to sit there and say, don't do this. Don't do this, you could be eaten by a bear. Don't do this, a tiger could attack you. Don't do this, you could fall off the cliff. So fear was very important about keeping us alive. And for those who survived in the hunter-gatherer times, and even just, in the not-so-distant future, they needed a healthy dose of fear to keep them going, to say, okay, make this decision, not that decision. Today, our fear manifests differently. We are protected by homes all the time. We are, we have such conveniences. We don't put ourselves in danger. And there's good reason for that, right? But it also makes the fears that we do come into, it makes it more feel like personal attacks. It makes it harder to identify, harder to come to conclusions with, because they're not what our mind has been programmed over so many generations to deal with. And so here, when we're looking at our fears, we have to kind of go back and give them a face. Make it kind of like a warrior that we can fight. Make it an opponent that we have to look at and say, I see you. I respect you because you are an opponent. And I see you because you're going to attack me. And as I claim this, as I claim this battle, as I know this truth, I get to see why. And because it's within our own mind, the battle isn't going to be with swords or with, slingshots or anything like that. It's going to be with thoughts and with words. And so when we're confronting our fears, they'll throw at us the hurts that have defined us for too long, the pains that have become overwhelming. They will throw at us things we would rather forget, but they won't let us. And so here with the Nine of Swords, it's understanding that. And it's looking that dead in the eye and saying, no, you don't get to overpower me. And it brings us to the sun. It brings us to spreading our wings. It brings us to this beautiful sunburn that calls in the dawn. And as the dawn is called in, as this beauty comes forward, as we step into our power and as we sit in our power meditatively, contemplatively, personally, powerfully, this is the happiness that comes. Will people try to take away the happiest card in the whole entire tarot deck? Absolutely. Do people hate it when other people are happy? Absolutely. Most people are in a battle, and they don't know what with. But they can't sit quietly. They can't be happy. They can't be connected to their hearts. And this right here with the sunbird, with this healing, is that this healing, this purging away, this detoxifying of emotions leads you to a powerful place where you confront the nightmares and you rise to a new dawn, to a new day, to a new way forward. It brings you then to the Seven of Coins. It brings you to needing to be patient, because things happen, especially in the public arena, in divine timing, not in our timing. Now you might sit there and say, well, I can just push through it, right? I can make things happen. Yes, we can. We can always make things happen. And this isn't saying to sit on our couch, eat chips, and just wait for the great job to come through, just wait for the great person to show up, because that's unrealistic. We don't believe that's the way it's going to happen. But if we look at things and say, I want to meet somebody, I want to fall in love, and I want to be happy, I want a job that makes me feel fulfilled, I want, I want what I want. And we give name to it, whatever it is. I want to feel peace within myself. I want to be brave. I want to, go after what I desire. I want to bring my dreams forward. Be patient. Look at that dream. Look at that wish. Start to make it happen. Start to say, it's not scary, it's not overwhelming, it's something that's doable. And then do it. But also know that as you're walking forward, divine timing guides you, moves you, delays you, accelerates you. And you'll be surprised at the end result. So during this time, you're definitely going to want to sit there and say, I want it and I want it now. Step back, do your job, do your end of the bargain. Put in the time, put in the effort, but also know that things line up, karmically, powerfully, divinely. And it changes your point of view on things. As you're being a knight, being a defender of your prosperity, as you're looking at the battles that you can fight and looking at the battles that you want to fight and embracing that power. You have the Hangman. You see things so differently than you saw them before. And it has you looking at yourself in a different way. But there is also a sense that it has you looking at the world a different way. And you might think, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. Everybody else is thinking like A, and I'm thinking like B, and this is just terrible. It's not. It's not. You're thinking differently. And that means that, yes, you might not fit in with everybody else. Yes, you might feel like an outsider or like, this weird being that came to the planet, and you're looking at it and you're like, where do I even belong? Why am I here? People who ask that question are searching. They are becoming. That's a powerful question to have. And it's a powerful answer to find. It doesn't happen overnight. Do not let everybody turn you right side up. Do not let everybody take away your brilliance and your uniqueness and your deeper contemplation of life. Because you look at things differently. Because you've been through a trying time. Not everybody has been through what you have been through. The tower is being pushed way out of your comfort zone. And now it's looking at where you desire being, how you desire moving forward. It's looking at the world that was shaken up. And you're seeing the bigger picture of why this happened, of why you're going through the tower time, why you went through the tower time, where it is that you want to be, what it is that you desire to move forward with. Divinity in the public arena especially has shaken you so far out of your comfort zone that it is beyond the realms of intense. But as you're looking at things, you're going to find that it isn't what you had expected. The way forward isn't what you thought it would be. For good, bad, or indifferent, there's a way that your life is being cultivated that is really quite profound and really quite different than what you expected. And because of the tower, because you were thrown out of your comfort zone, because it was like a sink or swim type of moment, that's when you got to see what you were made of. That's where you understood your weaknesses. You saw your strengths and everything in between. And the tower gives us insight that we would never have if everything was just perfect. And it brings us to the Page of Cups. It brings us to you. Scorpio, you are a student, not only of the world that you're living in and the public arena and what it is that you desire, but you're a student of your heart and what your soul wants and where it is that you want to be in the long run and what it is that you're working for. And all these myriad things that seem like, oh, well, you should already have that figured out. Doesn't everybody have that figured out by like 18 or in their 20s? No, not at all. We are learning. We are constantly changing. We are seeing things differently every single day. This is looking at how it affects your heart, how it moves your soul forward, what it is that you truly want, and where it is that you truly want to be in this life. And you're asking questions you might never have thought you would ask. You're seeing things in a way that you might have thought once upon a time was wrong or, shouldn't be, as long as you come from a place of love and respect. As long as you embrace your power and know your truth. Let your heart guide you on this beautiful adventure as you become a student of its way forward, of the grace that is around you. It moves you then to go deeper. Scorpio, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Oh, excuse me. My goodness. We have the Knight of Coins, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The Six of Coins. Oh, the Ten of Cups. I love that. The Knight of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The Two of Swords, the Two of Cups, the repeat of the number 2 means that divinity is right there with you. There's this beautiful connection coming forward. There's also this really powerful creativity to you during this time. Don't waste that. You have the Six of Cups, the repeat of the number 6 says that this is a very caring and nurturing time. It's the most caring and nurturing of the numbers. The Nine of Swords and the Knight of Cups is you over the page. Now you have progressed. You have gone from being a student to a defender, and that's really quite cool. Now, in this reading, we have the Knight of Coins, and we had the Knight of Coins, and now we have the Knight of Coins. So we have 3 Knights of Coins, Knights of Pentacles. So that's going to be a very important energy for you during this time. It's something that you're building. It's something that you're building towards. There's something more here than what you expect, but it's a slow and steady process. That's why divinity is reminding you of divine timing. And it's with the Six of Cups. It's like, don't be nostalgic, only look in the past. Look at the divine timing of where you are right now, and look at the way that you want to move forward. So this is really kind of opening up a door to you. Slowly and steadily, you're moving towards something more. You need to trust, and you need to look at the bigger picture of what it is that you want. There's going to be a tendency here to be caught up in the really small details, like the super small details, Scorpio, and it's not going to make an ounce of difference about the super small details, but it is if you step back and you look at the big picture and say, okay, why am I getting caught up on this little detail when I should be looking at the grander scheme? So that's going to help you not fall prey to certain things during this time, not fall into certain traps. Yeah, where you look at the little tiny thing and you miss. It's kind of like, you're looking at the ant and you miss the giraffe that walks by. Then we have the Six of Coins. This is a need for fairness. This is a need for balance, a give and a take. And with the Empress, it's like as you find your voice, as you find your prosperity, there's a need for a give and a take, for balancing. You can't just have people say, I want and I want and I want, and give nothing in return. So that's going to be very important during this time to really set out your boundaries and make them clear. You then have the Ten of Cups over the Ace of Swords. As you have this gift of knowledge coming forward, it also leads you to your happily ever after, to what it is that you love, what it is that you want in life. And we have very broad terms for happiness. Most people want to settle down, and, people want to have children, or they want to have pets, and they want this, and they want that. And it's like, that's all well and good. But what is your idea of simply being happy? It's kind of like your ideal vacation. For some people, it's being in the midst of everything. For others, it's sitting on a beach, just laying down and being quiet. Happiness is very personal. And yet we're told happiness looks like this. We're shown advertisements, we're shown everything that makes us think that happiness is a very certain way. The fact of the matter is, it isn't. It's very personal. And during this time, as you get this gift of ideas and ideals and insights and understanding, it brings you closer to your happily ever after, as that pertains to you. And it kind of makes you look at the other people in the world, right? And say, you get to define your own happiness for you, but I get to define it for me. And then it moves us to the Knight of Swords, to the slaying of dragons, to the healing that's coming in, to the embracing our power and our truth and our queenliness. And we slay, it's so funny because it's over the Knight of Wands, which is a dragon. We slay that which is hoarding away our gifts and our skills as we move towards ascension, as we cut through the poison of this world. And it brings us to the Two of Swords. It brings us to opening up our eyes, opening up our ideas, and learning how to fight the dragons, learning how to fight the nightmares, what has overwhelmed us, what has kept us held back. It also lets us see that different roads start to open. We thought it could be A or it could be B, and now we're seeing that it could be, all the letters, all the letters and all the languages, and it just starts opening up a world that we might never even have known existed. And it brings us then to the Two of Cups, unity and love over the sun, over our joy and our happiness and our success and our prosperity and our abundance, our happily ever after. It brings us a unity of where it is that we want to be, how it is that we want to move forward, what is it that we love, what is it that we're healing from, how is it that we're embracing our truths and our souls. It brings us then to the Six of Cups, where we release the past, we understand and honor the past, but we don't let it be the ruler of our present. And that's with what is this one? That is with the Seven of Cups, with our patience and with our seeing things differently. Don't think, I've been, this is not my first rodeo type of thing. That's what Spirit is saying. Don't think, I know this. I've had this happen before. It's going to be just like this. It's not saying to be a naive fool, but it is saying here to look at things and look at them in an individual sense, not in a lump sum sense of, oh my gosh, I'm so used to being hurt this way that I'm just going to shut the door right away. Or I'm so scared of being hurt this way that I'm going to shut the door right away. Because there's preconceived notions here that are going to be shaken. And it doesn't mean that that there might not be hurt or anything like that. It means that there's an opening up of ideas, of different ways forward, of, greater understanding. And if we judge it all off of our past and say, I've already been here, then we're negating the present where we stand right now. So, be mindful, of course, have your guard up. You don't want to be taken as a fool, but you also don't want to be closing the door on something brilliant. It then brings you to the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords, there we go, over the Tower. And this is again the nightmares, the, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Oh my goodness, how do I move forward? Is there help? Isn't there help? Everything has changed. There is so much chaos that has been dealt with. But there is a sense of, even though there has been change, don't let it fall into the realm of nightmares, of doubts and of fears and of chaos, and making things bigger in our heads than they actually are, because we'll wind up crippling ourselves. It moves us then to the Knight of Cups. As you are that student of your heart, as you are taking things in, as you are discovering, you become the defender of the heart, the soul, and the self. You drink deeply of something beautiful. And it's your faith in you. It's the hopes and dreams of what you desire. It's this beautiful way forward. And you are both student and defender. You are quester, and you are quester, and you are asker. And that is really quite beautiful. Your spirit animal message. Scorpio, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, fantastic. You have 4. So we start here with the Coyote spirit. Trust in the divine detours. You have had a lot of divine detours, Scorpio. They're not wasted. They weren't for nothing. Trust in them. You're not always going to know how you got to where you are or where you're supposed to be. You just have to know that you got there. It then brings you to the cow spirit. The miracles are endless. We want our miracles to be big and shiny. We like everything to be big and shiny. We just want all the neighbors to ooh and ah over us. And, that would just be nice, wouldn't it? But with the cow spirit, it's saying, remember the little miracles. Remember the small kindnesses. The person who makes you the cup of coffee, without you having to ask. The person who, smiles at you when you're on a walk. And the just little polite things that the world does. The birds singing when you leave the house, the sun shining down and warming the earth. These are little miracles that we say, oh yeah, They happen every day. So what's the big deal? But it is a big deal when they stop happening. And we take our miracles for granted. Don't. It moves us then to the grasshopper spirit. Take a leap of faith. Seriously, during this time, take a leap of faith on you. Don't do anything like crazy, run away, join the circus type of deal, but take that leap of faith because it's time to let go of the hurt that's defined your heart for too long, to all the heartbreaks, the pains, the disappointments. It's time to let it go. Your subconscious spirit animal message is a snake spirit. Time to heal. It's time to heal from everything that you've been through. It brings us to the subconscious person message, which is the star. It's to be the star in our own lives. It's to be the highest form of man's perfection, which is a tall order, yes, but it's to look at the impossible and see the possibilities. It's also knowing that our soul's wish is being heard, and gently and quietly, and in a way we hardly expect, being granted. There's more here than we realize, and that's empowering. It brings us to your subconscious chakra message, which is holistic health, the root chakra, to be and to embrace your holistic self, to heal naturally. This isn't, discarding medicine at all, and I am not a doctor in any way, but this is looking at things and saying, let me take a natural, gentle approach. Let me see where that gets me. Let me see what happens when I start listening to my body, when I start connecting with myself. It brings us then to your subconscious tarot message, which is the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups are the emotional hurts. I see this as the people who raise their glass to us and yet don't mean it. Hurt us, betray us, leave us. And there's despair. The Three of Cups are the wounds that we carry within our hearts. The Three of Cups is saying it's time to look at those wounds and to not let that person have any more say in your life. It brings us to go deeper into our subconscious. And we have the Queen of Cups. So you come through as a page, as a knight, and now as a queen, Scorpio. Embracing your power, drinking deeply of the truth, knowing what it is that you desire, healing your heart, looking at your soul, opening up the doors. Subconsciously, you cut through so much pain to embrace your grace and to stand in your truth. All right, Scorpio, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy, as you embrace power and purpose, and as you slowly and steadily build something magnificent. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio.